So, tonight we're welcoming back Tricia Brown to the Cryptid Quest Podcast, and we're going to pick up where we left off. Do you remember where we left off?
I do.
Okay.
But I have some good ones. I have some doozies.
Some doozies. Well, I want to hear doozies. Let's get it going.
Okay. So the last part that we talked about was me seeing the wet footsteps in the house.
I remember that.
When I was talking about, I was also talking about how I like to call them the tree people, the Sasquatch people, the Bigfoot people, how they interact with me, how they let me know that they're there, in my life. And so the last conversation that we were talking about was I was saying about how I saw the two wet footsteps in the house.
Okay, yeah, I do.
And so okay, good.
Yeah.
So I thought I would say some more about the different things that they've done to let me know that they're there. And then so if that's okay, if you'd like to hear.
I want to hear whatever you got to say. Give it to us.
And then I want to tell you about a symbol that was etched on my back out of nowhere.
Hold on. Etched on your back, like scratches?
Well, something was used to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like it's a symbol. Like it's not just like 3 lines, it's.
No, I understand that, but I mean, when you say etched, does that mean?
Well, some scratch, like you could tell that like a tool, some sort of tool was used to do it.
Okay.
That's all, because so I'll talk about that.
Okay.
And I'll talk about when me and my parrot and my dog teleported from one part of the forest to the other.
Hell yeah.
When I was in Georgia. Yeah, that was very, very trippy. So those are a few things that I could think of that I think would be very interesting to hear about.
Okay.
Also, I wanted to mention too that, I'm not going to say every single of my experiences about the Sasquatch people, but if somebody really wants to hear a whole, like starting from the beginning until a couple years ago, I'm on a podcast called My Bigfoot Sighting, and my episode is called "They Call Them the Tree People." And it's really good listening.
Is that Vic Cundiff?
Yes.
I've been on his show.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Yeah. Like telling your story about that was kind of scary and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
I am so interested to hear your story. So
you've not heard it?
No.
Well, it's episode 1 on this podcast.
Really? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna listen.
All right.
I want to listen to it. I'm going to do that because I'm super curious.
Yeah.
Because we kind of touched on it, like you said that it was scary.
Oh, yeah.
But that you think that you might have misinterpreted it, maybe. Right?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Because it started off scary and then it ended up everything was okay, but I was, but this is about you, so I want to hear about your stuff.
Okay, all right. So in 2020, when the beginnings of the lockdown and the quarantining was starting, I took that opportunity to pack up everything and move from North Georgia across the United States. And I ended up in Eureka, Montana area for about 6 months, starting in June. and I had some decent paranormal, mystical, spiritual experiences with the Sasquatch people, and also with this etching of a symbol on my back, and then, you know, this sort of thing. And so when I was in heaven, I mean, I'm like, you know, no one was outside. It's like totally empty, the roads. I felt like I had the whole, you know, United States to myself. I got to go do things that other people were not, because, you know, there was hardly anyone else. So I got to bring my parrot into restaurants. People were being really helpful.
That's cool. Love your parrot, by the way.
Thank you. She's pretty great. She just turned 28.
I know. I gave her a happy birthday the other day. All right, carry on. Sorry.
That's okay. So I ended up staying the first part of my time in Eureka, Montana. I stayed in a house where a guy had a really big house, and he did like the house share thing. He rented out a bunch of rooms in his house, and he lived like a minute drive to the border of Canada. Amazing view, just zillion-dollar view right there. And so, you know, I kind of wanted to hurry up and get out and explore. So I decided to go camp, and I found a small campground along by a really pretty small lake in the town of Fortine, Fortine, Montana. And I camped by myself. The Forest Service or whoever, when they had cut up some wood, they left wood piles at each fire pit. So I just car camped. And in the evening, you know, I did put a fire in the fire pit, and my dog was there, and my bird, and it was just so pretty. And I had it all to myself. It was super quiet, and so pretty. And so went to bed. I don't know what time it was. I'm going to say like around maybe 11 or so. And then all of a sudden I heard along the other side of the lake what I call the man yell. And it's like this AH sound that's like, oh, like it's a really loud, long tone. And I heard it, and then I heard a return man yell call in a different, you know, in a different point or whatever. Let's say that one was north and then the other one was south, or you know, something like that, right?
Sounds like my story a little bit.
Really. But the thing is I have heard that exact same tone way across the United States in Georgia in 2 different locations. The same exact tone.
Yep.
So that's pretty interesting to me.
Yeah. And I've heard it here in Missouri.
What?
I've heard it here in Missouri.
What'd you? Same AH sound tone, or your? Oh my God!
I heard it in 4 different directions out here. Yeah.
Wow.
At the same point.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, this is very interesting. Okay, this is so cool. You're the only one so far that I've heard that has had that same exact tone. Wow.
My sister has a recording of it that'll be on her episode. So.
Okay, great. So also, by the way, I do energy healing, and one of the modalities is called color and sound therapy. And you use tuning forks, you use your voice, you use color, and they all correspond to the different energy centers in the body. And AH is the sound of the heart chakra.
Really?
The heart center. Yes.
Huh.
It's exactly the same tone that they're doing. And so it's very interesting to me.
That is interesting.
Yeah. So I talked about that when I was with on an episode with Pork and Beans, or They call themselves that particular Michael, and I forget the other guy's name. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Vic.
I held up the chart and everything. I think I lost them. I was like showing them, like, look, this is the heart chakra. The tone that you use with your voice when you're doing the color and sound therapy on someone is ah, and that's exactly what I hear. So I've heard it in two parts of Georgia, like a half hour from each other, and then the call, and then the response call. And so I said, please do not come over here and peek in the window at me.
Yeah.
I do not want to see that. Please don't scare me. Okay. Oh my God. So I still covered my head with the blanket, and they did not, as far as I know. I mean, maybe they did, but they didn't scare me. Okay. So that happened. And then, so that, let's say that was sometime in June. So, and I'm going to kind of go a little bit quick. In August 4th was my birthday. I decided to go to this part of the river, the Tobacco River, and bring my book of, it's called Interdimensional Sasquatch. Read my book, have a beer, have my animals with me, and enjoy my time at the river. And 3 rocks were thrown, like, one at a time. The first one was a little bloop, a little upstream. And actually, I first saw, like, it looked like a beaver, but it was like, is that an otter? It was hard to tell. It was kind of meandering on the other side of this S-turn of this small portion of the Tobacco River. And I'm like, oh, look at that. And then I turned for a second, and I looked over, and it was gone. And then right after that, there's a buck standing behind me about, let's say, 50 feet, snorting at me. And I was like, well, hi there. And I thought that was also very interesting, these 2 animals. It's possible that they were cloaking or doing some sort of something to kind of be closer to me, and check me out. And I feel like maybe I was in a spot that maybe they didn't want me to be. Maybe I was in the middle of something. I'm not sure. But so I started reading, and then all of a sudden I heard like a small, like, rock land upstream. And I thought it was maybe that otter or beaver or whatever, like, jumping into the water. So I was looking around. I didn't see anything over there. I'm like, that's really weird. I'm not seeing a little head swimming around. Okay. So I look back down, and all of a sudden, like, right out in front of me, like, let's say, I don't know, I'm going to guess that it was about either, between like a softball and a volleyball sized rock, just, gosh, splash, just right out in front of me. And it just popped me up, stood me up, boing. Like, I was like, oh, what just did that? Who did that? And I'm like looking around. There's no one there. I was by myself. There's no way a human could throw that rock from that far where the trail was. So I started feeling a little, I didn't know how to feel what I was feeling. Like, am I feeling their presence? Am I feeling a feeling of, I need to get, like, are they not liking me there, or are they just having fun with me? And so I said, will you do that again? Can I watch you do that?
You're brave.
I was super open to, here's your chance, right? Like, in my years of having experiences, when you haven't, especially like with spirit, when it's happening, you're so, like, you're staring like, wow, I'm seeing literally a full-bodied person with clothes on right there in my room, and we're looking at each other. He sees me, I see him. And so you think later, like, I should have said something like, hi, do you see me right now? Whatever, right?
I get it. I
thought of it in the moment, like, I'm gonna say, hey, can I watch you do that again?
Still very brave.
And so, it was, and and so, because I thought maybe he'll manifest, like, right out in front on the other side of the creek, or maybe I'll see a rock out of midair, like come out of midair and land in the water. I didn't know. but I decided to totally do it. And so I waited a couple seconds and I thought, I think I'm just going to go, because I was feeling a feeling like I'm not really sure how to take this. And then I looked down to start picking up my things, and splash, there goes the third rock in the exact same spot the second one was. And I saw like the remnants of the spray. I'm like, wow, okay. So were they up on the ridge and like aiming so well, just aiming it like right into that spot? I mean, I used to, when I was a kid, I loved throwing rocks at a log or whatever, aiming and aiming and aiming, just like entertaining yourself, right? So I got pretty good at aiming. I played softball for many years. I have a pretty good arm. I could aim pretty well. So were they doing that, or were they on the other side and just dropping it into the water and I just couldn't see them? I don't know. Or him? Or was it a Indian? Was it a native spirit? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Could it have been?
Let me interject for 1 minute.
Yeah.
So I've heard a lot of stories about Bigfoot and how they throw rocks. And it's just me talking about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
They supposedly have a very good aim, but they don't ever aim to hurt you. They just aim to scare you. So if it landed in the same spot 3 times, in my mind, that tells me they were just trying to send you a message. I don't know what the message was, but
I don't think it was. The first one was a little it was a smaller rock. The first one, like maybe to get my attention. I think it's possible that either it was sort of juveniles having fun with me,
probably,
or like I said, because I connect to the ancient people a lot. Like the ancient people, I call them the ancient people of the land. So I don't know. Or was it maybe, in that area, there's signs about watching for bear. So were they protecting me? Were they wanting me to move? Because maybe, I don't know. I don't think it was to scare me, because they've always been very gentle to me. They teach me, they show me. I've always felt like this fondness and like almost like teary-eyed at their kindness with me. So I don't think it was to scare me, what I'm saying, but it did make me
I got you.
feeling comfort, there was a strong presence feeling around, for sure. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
So I got all my things together and left. So that was quite the experience, So that happened, and
That's
then
amazing.
so I got to borrow a camper, which was super fun, and then I got to stay at one of the most amazing RV parks. I don't. It's the location is amazing, and then the fact that each person has such a big RV spot, and then they can do whatever they want in it. Like they can put in their own outdoor kitchens and decks and like build structures and all this really cool stuff. And the Canadians, and they were not able to get there because of the border being closed. So I really got to have the whole place to myself for like 2 months, just wandering around and enjoying that location. And it turns out that the tribe of the area would use down inside this bowl of this land to do wind ceremony. So this was a sacred location. And so the first night I was there, I decided to make my own fire pit.
Wing ceremony? What's that?
Wind.
Wind? Is that
W-I-N-D.
I
don't know. They
wind?
It would get windy. This area would get super windy.
Oh, okay.
So
okay. All right.
they a wind ceremony, like do a ceremony down inside, maybe honoring the wind. I'm going to tell you, I've had some amazing experiences with wind. I've had a separate wind, like come out of the woods. It's like I saw it in my mind's eye, come out of the woods and wrap around me 3 times in a different location when I was in Savannah, Georgia, and then go back into the woods. And I was like, wow, thanks. So the wind. I've
I
connected
got
to
you. I just make sure I was getting it right. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. So I made my own fire pit and with the rocks that were around, and I'm like, I could do my own ceremony. I could do my own fire ceremony, like where I burn some sage and sweetgrass and or do some journaling, and then you burn it in the fire, and it sort of transmute it, and so that it can manifest, or you can release the energy behind it and all that stuff. And so I made a fire, and it was nighttime. I videoed it. It was so dark out, and this is in a remote town. Like it's a small town, and especially now, that the Canadians were not able to be there, so it was just the locals there, and so we're like an hour from Kalispell, or an hour from Libby. So it's in a remote location, and so I was filming. I videoed my fire in the fire pit. I was just so proud of it, and having such a great time. I was like, this is amazing. I feel so thankful to be able to borrow the camper and have fun, whatever. So my dog was laying on her bed, really kind of near the fire, enjoying herself, looking around. And then I look over at her, I film her, and then I'm filming back. And then I shut off my phone, and I just go back to enjoying myself. 2 years later, I'm scrolling back through my phone. My dog had taken her last breath like a couple days before, and I was just kind of just wanting to just look through videos and pictures.
Sorry.
Thanks. She was with me for almost exactly 17 years.
Oh.
And so I saw that it was like 35 seconds or something of this. You could see it was in the dark, this video, and I remembered right away. I'm like, oh my God. So I decided to watch it, and I'm watching it, and then towards the end of the video, I see eye shine. There is someone standing there with us at the fire pit, like on the other side of us, like 3 feet from the fire pit, like about 4 to 5 feet off of the ground or so, like 2 eyes, like that was with us.
That was
while I was hanging out.
The height of the eyes, 4 or 5 feet.
I'm like trying to, I've tried to kind of make sense of almost like you almost try to fill it in, like trying to see, almost like you can see almost like the image of the shape of the body, but you can't really. It's just sort of your eyes.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
What do they call that? Pareidolia?
So well, I think it's just in your mind's. I mean, in your mind's eye.
Well, I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying you didn't see the eyes, but your mind was trying to wrap something around it.
Yeah. I feel like it was a thinner being. So I don't know. All I know is I was feeling really happy. So whoever it was wanted to be there with us as we were enjoying ourselves at my fire pit. So that was amazing to find that. And I really feel like my experiences, they don't have to be linear. Wasn't linear. Like maybe I wasn't meant to find it until when I did. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it might have freaked me out. That's pretty amazing.
That is pretty amazing.
Okay, so I wanted to. I had a feeling I was going to be there for a little while. I was trying to get over the border to go help work with this guy that does expeditions with the Bigfoot people. Like they take them out to a certain area that he has with a mobile trailer there, and then he takes them around and does research out there. And I was going to go do that, but I couldn't get over the border, so I was just enjoying myself there. And I really wanted to see if I could meet up with like a shaman or a medicine man or medicine person or an elder. I really thought that it would be kind of neat because this whole area out there is very historic. The ancient people were there in this area of Tobacco Valley. This area is called like Tobacco Valley. And I was also listening to a couple books, like audiobooks. One was called The Wind is My Mother, really super great story about a man that, medicine man, his amazing mystical experiences and all he did. And then another, and a woman she calls herself more of a contemporary shaman that was teaching about different things like sweetgrass and sage. And like right at that moment, all the sweetgrass was growing all around there and the sage. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I started working at this company that made, it was like the warehouse where they made herbal things, herbal supplements for cats, dogs, and horses. And so I thought, wow, what a cool place to work. And so that was going on at this experience that I'm going to share. Also, I was told about a guy that him and his wife had separated, and so he needed help with the kids when he was working. So kind of like do nanny stuff, and I worked with kids a lot. And so I went to meet him at his property, and he was telling me these not good things that had happened at the house, like some strange vibe going on at the house with a dog like attacking out of nowhere. His wife started acting weird, and she crashed her truck. Just strange stuff like that. And then while we were finishing up talking, it was just strange. I was like, I don't want to help this guy. I was like, he was like, something was up. It didn't feel good. Didn't feel right. And I look over at him, and his eyes were black. And I'm like, oh my God, this is really getting creepy. So I, like nonchalantly as I could, I said, oh, well, I better go. It's kind of getting late or whatever. And I left. I had one of the worst dreams of my life that night. And then the next day is when I started at this job. And I can't remember if it was that first day at this job or if it was the next day. I can't remember. But in all this thing of me wanting to meet up with a shaman or elder or whatever, I just wanted to talk with somebody who, in that realm of person. And so later in the day, I felt something on my back, and while I was working, and I reached back to touch, kind of like it was kind of near my bra strap. I thought, oh, maybe my bra strap is tight or something, and it was like poking into my skin, and I was like feeling sort of this raised feeling. I didn't know what it was. I was like, that's weird. And then I just went back to what I was doing. It was kind of like very simple work, like putting labels on jars and like filling bags of the herbal supplement. It was just really peaceful, easy work, and that was great. And so I got home, and then around like 5:30, I started feeling like this tingling in that area again. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So I decided to see if I could take a picture of it myself. It's like really hard to take a picture of your own back.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I was able to get 2 pictures, and I could not believe my eyes. It looks like a symbol, like a Reiki symbol or like a Chinese symbol or a type of symbol. And I was like, wow. It is like I can almost imagine like someone took like a pin or something with a sharp point and etched on my skin a symbol on my back. At first it looked like a Z, but then I realized as I zoomed in, it's like it had a couple other like different separate kind of curves in it, up there and down there, and that sort of thing. And I'm like, wow, I wonder if that's a shamanic symbol. So I was able to talk to a couple people that were shamans, and they said, yep, that is 2 shamanic symbols put together. And that a shaman can use a symbol that's already been created, or they can make up their own symbol to represent something, or they can like combine symbols. So they said that.
Did you take a picture of these things, or
yes.
did you yeah? write them down or?
Yeah, I took 2 pictures that night, that evening, and then the next day, I had a girl take a picture of it again, so you can see what it looks like the day after too.
Oh
You can
wow.
see it.
Okay.
So
Do you
I'm
still have
actually going to
those?
have a yes, and they are on. They're in my phone, and they are also on my Facebook page. The paranormal, spiritual, mystical experiences.
Can you
Yes,
send it to me
and
so
like
we can put it on the podcast?
yes, yes,
Heck
yes, I
yeah. All
can.
right.
Yeah,
Didn't mean to cut you
yeah.
off, but go ahead. I'm intrigued.
Yes, that's perfect because, by the way, what's the producer's name?
Dirty.
Okay, Dirty. Thank you. Like, I love the pictures that you.
You getting props,
That's
Dirty.
so great. Oh, I love that. So fun. Like,
Yeah, no,
so okay.
he's good. He'll add that.
Yeah, he's probably doing sound effects right now.
Yeah, he totally. So it sounds like
That's
the
all
scary
good.
man.
So
Yeah.
no, I didn't mean to shut you down. Keep going.
No, it's okay. So, yeah, so that was pretty amazing. Okay, so what they told me it means is, it means, well, it was for me. One of the reasons that it was for me, like I was calling out, and then he showed up, or she. I think it was a he though. I don't know why, but I feel like it was a male medicine man from the non-physical. Okay, that may
Yeah.
sound weird, but
No,
that's
it
what I
don't
think.
sound weird to me. Because I believe in this stuff.
And so it means purification and healing, like purification / healing, which and then the other one is giving, like / healing. Those 2 symbols put together. And so it was for me, as for protection, and as sort of another tool in my toolbox with my work, my energy work that I do to pay it forward. And then like in earning it. And while I was thinking about this later on, I had a flash in my mind from when I was a little girl and I was in Girl Scouts and Brownies, and you would earn a merit badge and it would go on your sash.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking
Kind
about?
of like that. Yeah,
And so
I got you.
I had a flash in my mind of that. Like, oh, wow,
So
amazing. I earned
what
badge.
what were they protecting you from? Do you just
Well, I just think in general as like an added protection, and plus the fact of like whatever that weird vibe that was from the day before at that
Alright,
guy's house.
So you had the vibe, and then they came in and basically put a protective
like,
cloak around you.
Yeah, like it's
I got
internally
you.
in there.
Yeah.
Like it's a part of me now.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And so I don't have any tattoos, but I feel that my first tattoo is I'm going to take those pictures to the person and have them put that in the spot
That'd be
on
awesome.
my back.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So that's going to be so that's that. Yeah. So that was pretty unique, right?
Yeah.
Wow. I felt like, thanks for letting me know that you're there. Like truly. So, so those are some of the experiences that I had when I was in Montana, like this really kind of profound, experiences. So wanted to share about that.
Thank goodness, because
so
I'm going to before you go on, I'm going to say that was amazing. I'm sorry we didn't get that on the last podcast, but man, I was so enthralled with the whole experience.
That's okay.
So
yeah, it's okay because I could spend days talking about my different experiences. So
well, we ain't got days, but we're gonna give you all the time we can give you. So where do you want to go next?
Okay, so I want to talk about when I teleported, because that is the most, trippy, bizarre, profound experience that I have had.
Yeah.
So I was living in Savannah, Georgia, and this happened in 2019, I think it was. And I was having a lot of my beginning experiences with the tree people. After I learned about them in 2018, I started seeing like tree structures, and then then I heard the man yell a couple times, and it's just like happening around, a lot going on. The owl sounds, and the owl calls.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to go to this location. It's out the outskirts of Savannah in an area called Berwick, and you go even farther out, like there's a military base not too far from this location. It's in a nature preserve, and I started walking around out there. I'm like, wow, this place feels very good out here, like natural nature, like it didn't feel too messed with. Very pure feeling out there. And I was seeing, like, I call them pickup sticks, like these weirdly arranged, like the tall skinny dead pines seem to be moving around there. And I'd see like these weavings, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. So I went out there a lot. And so I decided this one night or dusk, I was like, I want to go out there at dusk time and see if I could hear any vocals, any owls. And by this time, for a while after I found this location, I would say to the tree people, I want to be friends. Will you teach me things? I want to help you. I want to learn from you. And I would say, thank you for being with me in my life. Ever since I was a little kid, I feel like they've been around me, and that's pretty neat. And so sometimes I would get like these sudden, almost like downloads of information or thoughts. And so the day before or that day when I was going to go out there, I was in the shower, and all of a sudden I felt like, I'm going to wear my rain boots when I go hiking. I have never felt like wearing rain boots.
Yeah, that's kind of uncomfortable for hiking.
Weird, right? Like, I mean, I love backpack. I can hike for hours. I love to trail run, different whatever outdoors things. So whatever reason, I felt like maybe I'm going to go off trail, and because in this area, when it would rain, there would be sort of like foggy-ish areas and stuff like that. So I thought maybe I'll feel like going off trail in a certain spot. And that was my plan anyways, to go off trail in this spot. So I walked on my galoshes, and so I go off trail, and the spot that I decided to go off trail there, how have you heard where you will see a branch stuffed into the ground?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of that?
Yep.
Okay.
I've seen it.
Right at the spot where I go off trail, there was a branch stuffed into the ground. That was my first time seeing that. I was like, wow, I think this means something here. Okay. So I went off trail there, and I went only let's say 40 feet off trail. That's it. I was not too far from the trail, just kind of in the trees, in the pine trees and oak trees or whatever. And there was nothing going on. The insects came out and started doing their thing. And I had my parrot with me and my dog, and she's off leash trained.
Yeah, your parrot with you during this?
Yeah,
she's parrot.
Both of my animals been with me with numerous experiences over the years.
I didn't mean to cut you off again, but that's so cool. I can envision it now better.
Okay. Yes, so she's with me a lot, and so I'm like, I'm gonna order a pizza while I'm standing here. That's how close I was, to town, 20 minutes. And so I got off the phone, and the sun is like going down. I'm like, I better hurry up. And so I start heading towards the trail, but this time I decided to kind of just go straight to the trail from where I was standing. So I was a little bit more to the left of where I went in. And so I wasn't as familiar with the landscape right there. You know, as you go past the same little trees or the same branch that's laying on the ground or whatever. But I knew all I needed to do was walk straight, and I would hit right into the trail. And then I would turn left and go back to the parking lot. So it's getting kind of dark, and I go over this just slight embankment down, and there is no trail, and there is standing water, and there is this really tall, really big tree, like laying on the ground. Where'd that come from? Where am I? Like, it was, I have a really good sense of direction. I didn't know where I was all of a sudden. It was really weird. I even yelled out, help!
Oh, no.
It's not like, I don't know. How did I get so turned around? This is so weird. I thought, did I somehow go farther left and that I'm now walking parallel to the trail somehow? This is so weird. And so I even called my friend who I had shown this location. Like, I am somehow lost. I don't understand. I can't find the trail. So I could look through the trees and see the highway of the headlights going back and forth on the highway. And like a highway, kind of a small town highway, right? Not like a big highway, like a country road highway where one, you know, like one lane's going one way and the other lane's going the other one way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
And so I'm like, I'm just going to like cross country through the woods, go straight, maybe veer slightly to the left. Maybe I'll somehow hit into the parking lot first. And so I'm like, okay, here I go. And I just kept going, like bushwhacking and like going straight towards the highway. I get out on the highway and I am, okay, so I come out of the tree line and now it's sort of the ditch before the highway road. And I'm like, how is this possible? I was like a fourth of a mile away to the right, way to the right. It's like I suddenly, when I was in the woods before I started heading towards the highway, it was like I somehow suddenly went a fourth of a mile away to the right. And then I walked straight onto the highway. I was way off. It's just the most bizarre. Does that make sense? Do you get
No,
what I'm saying?
I got you. Yeah, you knew where you were, and you thought you were heading in that right direction. Then all of a sudden you got, and then you ended up like a quarter of a mile away from where you should have been.
So
Is that
it's
right?
like somewhere when I was walking to the trail,
Yeah.
I suddenly was somewhere else, like in an instant, like in a blink of the eye.
Like that.
I was in a complete, yes, like I was in suddenly a completely different part of the forest that's outside of the trail system.
And you still had your bird and your dog with you.
Yes,
Thank gosh.
my bird was on, and I don't know if. I don't understand how with Lucy. I don't. She wasn't like right next to me. I don't get it. I don't know because it got dark. It was like pitch black out there.
Oh, that's horrible.
And my phone, you know, you try to turn on your cell phone, but it was more blinding me. I couldn't tell where to go. You know, I could see like Lucy, and I could see like right in front of me, so I just turned off the flashlight to try to let my eyes adjust to the dark, and I just headed towards the highway. So it's like if you imagine, you know how like if you were to see like a satellite image, okay, did you ever see like any of the Missing 411 documentaries?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Where they show footsteps in a certain spot.
Yep.
And you're looking down at the woods, like if you're up above and you're looking down. And then so it shows like footsteps there, and then like whatever miles away, then the footsteps start again.
Yeah.
It was like that. It was like that, but I went like 1/4 of a mile to the right.
Oh, wow.
And
so,
then
okay, so now I got you better. So you're here.
Okay.
All of a sudden, you're here.
Boing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got you. I got you.
And then I started walking to the highway, and I came out on the highway, not where I should have been. I was way to the right.
Oh, wow.
So I have tried my best to try to make this make sense, because it's like I was literally in another spot in an instant and then started walking towards the highway. The way that the trail is it made like a U shape. So you start at the parking lot, and you left the parking lot, and then it kind of made a U shape all the way around and then hit back into the highway. So when I was on that trail, like halfway through the U shape is when I went off trail to the right, where I saw like the branch stuffed into the ground. And so when I came back out, I'm thinking, okay, I'm back somewhere around the middle of this U shape. So I'm going to go straight and hit the highway. But when I came out onto the highway, I was way far to the right of where the U hits the highway. Do you get it? Like, it's just the most.
Oh, I got you.
I posted this story on my YouTube channel, exploring the paranormal with Tricia Brown, and my name is spelled Tricia.
Got that dirty?
Not Tricia.
I know.
So
I'm sorry. I'm
right.
sorry. Yeah. Well, you know what? Hey, we're all human. We misspell.
It's okay. Yeah, it happens. Done it before too. So anyways, I talk about it on there, and I do my best to express how it went. And somebody commented like, "You're lucky you didn't end up in outer space." I'm like, "Oh my God, geez,
well,
thanks."
They're probably not far off from the truth. I mean.
Well, this is before I even started listening to Missing 411 too. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know that yet.
Oh,
I was like, I didn't want to be.
Missing 411, some crazy story. And when I say crazy, I mean just like mind blowing, because what happened to those people.
But this is what I think happened. I think I either went through a portal, or the Sasquatch people were showing me how they travel, a way that they travel.
So, do you think there's a possibility that the Sasquatch, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% either way. I think they might go through portals. Do you think maybe they had a portal that you just walked through?
I think that they can go wherever they want to go. I think they can just in an instant be somewhere else. They don't necessarily have to go through a portal. I think it's possible that they do go through portals also.
Yeah.
But I think that they're just interdimensional, so they can just go from here to there. Like that's how spirit
they change their vibration. You know what I mean? You ever heard that? How they change their vibration, and that means they can go from here to there without a portal. Have you heard of that?
Okay, right. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, however it happens is however it happens. I'm just saying. I think it's possible that they were showing me, because I'm like, I want to learn from you. So I feel like the reason why I felt like wearing my rain boots is because they told me to wear my rain boots, because that I was going to end up in water. Like I suddenly was in water. There was no water. When I walked out there, there was no standing water on the trails where I went out on the trails. And then I was suddenly in a totally different landscape where there was standing water and a tree that made no sense, to where there was no tree down, a big tree in that location. It was a totally different landscape. So I think that they were showing me this is what you wanted to have some experiences. Like you wanted to, learn.
You asked
This
for
is
it.
how we
Now
live.
you're getting it.
And it was just a very gentle one. I was only a fourth of a mile away. I was able to walk back to my car and carry on with my life and go get my pizza and go home and go to bed.
You got your pizza too? Was it cold?
Had my pizza. No, and it was not a missing. There was no missing time. I was somewhat able to hurry up and get back. It was, I don't know. I got back in time to go get my pizza. It wasn't like hours later or anything like that. So
that's pretty cool, though. That is pretty cool. Yeah. No, I'm feeling you on this. I mean, man, I wish, I had a scary experience. I wish I had something pleasant like what you had.
Well, I kind of
mine scared the shit out of me.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I've had when I worked at the airport, I would go travel and go meet people that were in this field, in this interest of Sasquatch or like into spirits or book clubs or whatever.
Yeah.
And so this guy invited me out to North Dakota. And so we ended up staying at a cabin along at the my gosh, it's called Metagoshi State Park, and it's also close to the border of Canada. And I felt like going for a walk and down this trail. And I got to a point, and I was just totally enjoying myself. I had a beer with me. I was wearing flip-flops. And I got to sort of this...
on a trail?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they were good. They were like good. They were like flip-flops. They were super comfortable. And so I got to a crossroads, let's say, and all of a sudden I had this feeling of hurrying to get away from there as fast as possible, like run. And I literally started running for my life. Like I grew up playing running sports, soccer, softball, field hockey. I got into trail running, but I had not done it in a while. And somehow I felt like I was helped along on as I was running, because I felt like something was chasing me. I felt like the need to run for my life all of a sudden. And I ran for 10 minutes, sprinting in my flip flops while I'm holding my.
How'd you keep them on?
I don't know. That's what I mean. It was like, how the heck did I do that? It was like I was being helped along. It was so trippy. So yeah, I mean, that's maybe the only time in my life that I had that feeling of oh shit, something's scary out here, really bad. Get me away from it as fast as possible and go as far away as fast as possible.
I've had that. So, I've had that feeling too.
That's the only time. I mean, I have the most amazing, wonderful experiences. When I got back, the guy he liked sitting at the fire pit, so we were hanging out at the fire pit, and all of a sudden I felt something. I'm going to say it was like a nature spirit. It came up behind me and made a high-pitched sound and then hurried back away. And I was like, oh, wow. Did you just hear that? And he's like, no. It's totally...
yeah.
So the rest, so yeah. I get interacted with a lot when I'm outside, by nature and nature spirits and different. I've seen branches move by themselves, little rocks thrown to let me know that they're there. I've heard drumming. One time when I was in this really neat state park in Savannah, Georgia, called Skidaway State Park. That's a really neat location. Very also nature, pretty a good vibe there. Really special. A lot going on there. There was paleontology there and history, and the ancient people were there. And so this one evening, I was finishing up our hike, and it was dark when I was coming off of the trail. And it was only 6:30 at night. It was when the sun goes down earlier at that time of the year, April or whatever it was. And I wanted to, before getting to my car, I wanted to go to the bathroom really fast at the, there was sort of this day use area with this playground and some outdoor like workout equipment and a pavilion. So I was walking past all that and through the trees towards the outdoor bathroom area there. And Manny was on my shoulder, and Lucy, my dog, she was just following along. And I was walking straight, but my head was turned to the right. So I was just sort of staring off into space. And out of the corner of my left eye, up ahead, I saw white movement. And, sometimes you turn and it's nothing. Maybe it's just like a hair or a branch, or, maybe it is a quick something, but then it's gone. Well, I turned to look, and it is literally a human figure made of solid golden white light walking in its own experience. Like, I don't know, let's say half a football field away in the trees, walking at a pretty good pace. Like, not like a stick figure. It wasn't that skinny, but it was thin. And it was like, it was on a mission. It was walking. It was walking kind of fast. And it had no head. So there was no like round part. It just kind of stopped a little bit below the neck. Yeah,
really?
it was just like, for real. That's
I'm not doubting you on that. I'm just asking. Wow. Yep. Okay.
So
carry on.
Like, we in my studies of who we are as, who are we beyond our, deeper than our bodies? We are beings of light. I saw like a being of light. It was literally made of golden white light. It was just amazing. So I watched it walking, and then all of a sudden it was like gone in this particular spot. So I would always try to see if I could see that again after that.
So yep. As it's walking, did it just like dissipate, or did it look like it walked behind like a black veil and was gone?
It's like it just went through a door or something. It was gone. It was like,
almost
gone. Past point and gone. Yep.
Okay.
And so I thought maybe there was a portal right there. So I about a year later, I went on a ranger-led hike with a bunch of people at the same park in a totally different location in the park. And for some reason, I turned to the couple that was standing next to me, and I said, I had a really interesting experience out here like a year ago. I saw a being of light. And it turns out that they traveled around the United States. They had all their paranormal equipment, like a ton of paranormal equipment, like ghost hunting stuff. So I took them to the spot. It was all going off. He captured mist. The Ovilus was going off. The saying words. The what do you call it? Oh my God. The REM pod was going off. Everything in this spot. Like, and we were just outside. It was just literally just out in the open air. So that was neat to be able to have that kind of verification that there was something going on in that location where this being of light just vanished. That was pretty amazing.
So do you have any thought in your head of what it might have been?
I think it's possible that it was an indigenous person. Yeah.
Like a spirit?
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I believe in that. I mean, I believe in everything. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, so that was the same state park where the wind spirit came out of the trees.
That's very cool.
Around me
what state park is that? Because I got to go visit there now.
It's called Skidaway State Park in Savannah, Georgia.
I got to check. Well, I used to live in Georgia for a while, but.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Around Atlanta, Marietta, Forest Park. But yeah.
Oh, yes. I know where it is.
Yeah,
I know where
Stone
that is.
Mountain for a little bit. Yeah, I bounced around a little bit around Georgia. But yeah, I'll have to go back there and check it out.
Yes, Skidaway, I think is the
And
name
you
of the
is that near, you
Skidaway.
say that's near Savannah, or is that?
Yes, it's on the outskirts, near Skidaway Island, more out away from town.
Oh, okay.
And I asked the rangers, has there ever been any paranormal experiences out here? No. I'm like, no, none? That's odd.
Yeah,
But
that's when you say yes, there has been.
yeah, I had one. It was a big one. Like, wow, in my life, it was so random. Like, wow, when it's happening, your eyes are just like, oh my God, am I seeing that? Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So that's
very cool.
So how much time are we done, or do I have any more time to share another story? Or are we done?
Give me another story. I gave you one more story.
Okay.
Come on, let's get it.
Okay, so
That's
I
my
really
podcast.
like this one.
We got at least another 30. You okay, Dirty? Dirty says okay. Let's go.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite experiences. So,
Okay.
I'm from California, so this was when I was in California.
I've lived in California
and
too.
What?
I lived in California too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What part?
Fremont. Up by San Francisco.
Oh my God. I'm from Saratoga.
Oh, okay.
You know where that is?
Not really. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, so where Fremont is more like the
San Jose.
the drier side. It's like the drier side of the Bay Area there, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So where Saratoga is, it's more the evergreens, like.
Oh, okay, a
really
little more north.
It's just South Bay. Fremont is more like, I guess, East Bay.
Okay.
And so Saratoga is really close to the Santa Cruz Mountains, right by the foothills of the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Oh, okay.
Really pretty.
Okay.
Like a half hour, like 45 minutes, depending.
I got
So,
you.
yeah,
I was
so
young
that's
when I
where-
lived there, so I didn't pay attention to nothing.
So yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like knowing that when people live near where I lived and stuff. Okay, so I was doing like house sharing where you rent a room in someone's house.
Yeah.
And my room was at the very end of the hallway, and it always seemed cold. It was always cold in there, even in the summer times. And I saw a lot going on in there. I'd wake up and I'd see weird objects floating around in there, and one time I saw this weird, like, it looked like a pygmy man, like running through the air, like through the wall, and then run through the middle of the room, like in midair, up in the air. I'm like, what the heck? And then, so it was all over the map with the experiences. There was one time, this really creepy being was, I couldn't see it, but I could feel it next to my bed. And I just put the covers over my head and I held super still and until it went away. And I was on an episode of a show called Stalked by a Ghost. Stupidest ever. I'm like, this could be on my resume. I'll just have this
show
be on
ever, but everybody loves it.
It was only like one season or something. I was like, season 1,
I actually
episode
think
3.
I've heard of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I was on that show, and so it's in that house. The episode is filmed in that house, and I'm talking about some of these experiences. And so I had a very, very good experience in this room where I woke up in the middle of the night, which has happened to me many times in my life. And there is a guy. Okay, at this time it was in 2004, and I was 34, and so there was a guy standing in the room, and he looked like he was an attractive guy. I was like, what the heck? And so he was looking at me like it was one of these experiences where I knew this is not a ghost. This is something way more important and higher of a being or higher of a person than a ghost. And so he was wearing clothes, like kind of casual, nice clothes, like the way I've described it. Like he looked like he was about to go to an outdoor barbecue or something with some friends or something in the backyard. He was wearing nice shorts and a button-down shirt, and he had like brownish blonde short hair. And I couldn't believe my eyes. He was just looking at me. So we were kind of just looking at each other, like in each other's eyes. And I was just, thing earlier where, how come I didn't say hi? Who are you doing? Like, do I know you? Do you know me? Like, who are you? Like, it was so special. And he had such a good feeling about him. Like, I felt like I knew this person, but I wasn't sure how. And so we just looked at each other. He was probably standing like 15 feet away. He wasn't like right in front of me. He wasn't like right next to the bed. Just kind of standing in the middle of the room. And then he just, after a little while, he just turned and started walking through my furniture, like through the desk or whatever. And then as he continued walking, he started like fading out a little bit. And then he walked through the wall and was gone. And that was one of the things I really wanted to know from this supposed medium on this show. And she was a super joke. She was not a medium. She didn't know what the heck. She was just making shit up.
Yeah.
She was like, it was not real. But it took me, so that was in 2004. I finally found out who he was in 2021. And he is a soulmate. And he was coming to check on me. And he truly was on his way to an outdoor party. That is truly what he was doing. And it just blows me away that I've described that he was wearing clothes and that's what he was doing. He wanted to check on me.
So you met him later in life?
I have not yet. He said we will.
Dang it.
But at this time in 2021, he told this shaman that we will come upon each other again, like in this lifetime. But he won't look like that. So I don't know what that means.
Well, we all look different later in life. You know, it happens.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll look different. I don't know if he'll be like a kid or if he'll be himself, but older. I don't know. But yeah, we got to communicate.
It might be my producer, Dirty.
Wouldn't that be a trip?
Wouldn't it? You never know. But
so
you'll never know what Dirty looks like.
You know, he showed himself like this funny, like scary mask thing. That was cute. No, but so I got to have sort of a communication with him through the shaman that I was talking to, that let me know who he was, that we have had many lifetimes together, and that he was coming to check on me, and he was totally surprised that I could see him. And so that's why he was looking at me. We were both looking at each other like, wow.
So now I got a question.
Wow.
So, does he know about this? Did the shaman tell you that? Does he know? Or
does he know about what?
That you guys saw each other. Like you saw him.
He was telling me, he was telling her. He was talking to her.
Oh, he was talking through her. Oh, okay. So then I guess he does know.
So with mediums and shamans, they can connect to spirit. That's what they do. So she was able to call him to her. And so she was communicating with him.
Another time out.
Yeah.
Is he a spirit?
Not new information.
Is he a spirit or a actual person?
He's a soul.
Actual?
He's a soul.
Huh?
Yeah, he's a soul.
He's just a soul.
Is in a different. No, he's not in the same I don't know how to explain it. He's a human soul that
It's displaced right now.
No. This is not a ghost. This is not somebody who died, and then this is a life between life.
His soul is in another body right now. Am I right or wrong?
So
explain it to me.
Let me tell you. Okay.
All right.
So when we have multiple lives. Okay, we have multiple lives. We have lives before this,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll have lives after this. And so where we are from is the other side, another dimension. We're from there. We come from the non-physical. That's where we're from. We are beings of light. We are spiritual beings, and we come to this earth to experience physical form and to evolve and to continue to evolve and grow and that sort of thing. So he was in a between lives moment.
Okay.
And
now
so she was able to communicate with him. That's as best as I can explain it.
No.
Sense,
now I'm kind of with you. He was in between, and that's why
I wanted to share the story, because it's totally different than what you usually hear. It's not a
no.
This is like
I'm digging it, and I believe it.
Came into this dimension to check on me, and then he went back over to his other dimension or his other timeline. There's multiple timelines going on. It's a lot to wrap the mind around, I know.
It's hard. You know what? I don't know. I can wrap my mind around it. I just got to get the exact details. Because I believe there's different dimensions, different timelines. I probably exist somewhere else doing something different, But here I am right now.
He came to my lifetime. He came into my lifetime, in our time and space, to come check on me. And he said that he comes to check on me a lot.
That's cool.
He's come to check on me a lot in my life. So I happened to wake up. I felt something would make, something out of nowhere made me wake up out of there was a shift in the energy in the room. So it made me wake up, and I look over, and there he was. And so he was totally shocked that I was seeing him.
That is so cool.
And I was definitely seeing him. So yeah, it was very special. And it really was a very special to be able to actually know, finally who that person was. I was truly getting to talk to a true medium / shaman who truly was able to talk to him. And so that really kind of made me have some answers, that I was wondering who that guy was.
I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
Yeah. So that's another one that's just very unique, No, that's
that's an awesome story. And I don't mean the story experience. I mean, something I've tried to teach myself to do is when people tell me things, I say story. The story is, in my mind, fiction. But when I say experience, that's something that really happened. So I tried to train myself how to say that. And that was a great experience. I love that. It was
a super experience. Yeah, it was real. Yeah. In my journey with what I was kind of, explaining in our first talk was that my experiences started when I was really little. And so I started seeing spirit when I was 7. And so when I was 32 or something, I was living in the Santa Cruz Mountains in this very historical location. It was the remaining last cabin house. And I all of a sudden I started seeing these two spirits, a little boy that was about 8 and a lady that was, I don't know how old she was. Maybe it was his older sister, or I don't know. And they were wearing clothes from the early 1900s. And I woke up to myself sitting up in bed they were that they were standing at the end of my bed, you know, like on the floor. And it was like I was looking into another time. Like that was like a whole nother thing. Like I was seeing into another time. They could not see me, but I could totally see them. And I watched them for like, I don't know how long. It was like 30 seconds or a minute. And then they just dissipated and I went back to sleep. And so like a week later, I fell asleep on the couch and I woke up, I opened my eyes, and now they're standing out in front of me in the family room about 8 feet away. And all of a sudden the boy like leaned down to check me out. And that freaked me out because now
They can see you.
he is seeing me at the same time that I'm seeing him. And I was like, whoa. I jumped like 3 feet in the air, and I just, for some reason, I just decided I'm going to pretend I don't see this. I'm going to roll over and go back to sleep. So I did that.
That's what you do when you're a kid.
And then, yeah, you're just like, I don't know, whatever. I'm just gonna, I don't know what this is. I'm going to go back to bed. So like a week later, I opened my eyes. I fell asleep on the couch again, and I opened my eyes, and now he's like, I don't know if I can show with my, like, he's like 2 feet from my face. Like his face is right in my face. Okay.
I can't
like,
do
and
it.
he's looking at me. I know it's hard to show.
About like
yeah,
this,
it's hard
yeah.
to kind of even closer than that. Yep, like that. And he's looking into my face, like trying to understand what the heck he is seeing. And he's doing this sort of like, you know, like he is. And so again, like, and he had blonde hair. He was about 8 years old, completely full formed person. And she, though, was still like an inanimate object in the background, but he was super alive, like. And so that's where it kind of changed my life in that, you know, as I was thinking about it, because what was he seeing? Like, were we seeing, was there like some sort of time thing where I was seeing in his time and he was seeing it my time?
That could have been.
And we were kind of merging into the same time space all of a sudden. Was he seeing just a floating face? Was he seeing my whole body? What was he seeing? It's just so interesting to me.
Maybe you guys were at the same place, well, not the same time, different times, same place. And he's seeing you, you're seeing him.
Yeah.
Man, that's...
Yep. So
I believe.
then I fell asleep, and, you know, one time I woke up, like a week later, I woke up and I just felt the urge to look to my left into the middle of my room, and there was an old lady, like an older lady standing there. Same thing. She's looking at me like, what the heck? Like she's got her eyes all crunched. Like she looked like newer from like either the 60s to the 80s, somewhere in there. She had like polyester pants and like curly white hair and glasses on. And so it was just something unique, though. It was like a different type of experience than just seeing a ghost. It was like as if she was having her own time frame, and somehow maybe I was the ghost, maybe I was the spirit
to her.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah
That's
so
cool.
cool.
I've really spent time in my life trying to put some pieces together. And this is still the tip of the iceberg of my experiences, but these are some of the, you know, other unique experiences that I wanted to share that are kind of different.
Well,
So
I
thanks for
am
listening.
so glad you came on tonight and because I've been like totally enthralled.
I just realized this whole time that my air conditioner has been on. Has it been totally annoying and loud?
I haven't heard it, but I'm half deaf.
Really? Okay.
So,
Oh my God.
but you know what? It's all good. I enjoyed the entire conversation, and I want to thank you again. I think I can hear me smacking the table more than I can hear your air conditioner. But thank you again, Tricia, for being on tonight, and I guarantee we'll get your name right this time. All right. So is there anything you want to promote? Come on, give me where people can find you. Once again, Even though you've done it before, let's do it again, where they can find you and what you got to promote. Let's hear it.
So you can find my Facebook group, Paranormal, Spiritual, and Mystical Experiences, if you want to see if you can find, I'm going to send you if you want to see the video of the eye shine.
Hell yeah.
And then also of the pictures of the symbol on my back.
Yep,
I'll send those to you too. So great to have that in here like that. Like, that was really cool. And then my YouTube channel, Exploring the Paranormal with Tricia Brown, Tricia Brown. Also, like I was saying earlier, I do energy healing work, color and sound therapy. If you're like wanting to do any physical healing, emotional, mental, it's like mind, body, spirit, health, and wellness is what I'm super into. I'm a dog trainer and I do animal house sitting. It's like kind of at the forefront of my work, but what I really, really also enjoy doing is my intuitive counseling, my spiritual counseling, my color and sound therapy, and I can do that from afar. You can be in Japan and I can be here in Florida. I've done this work on numerous people around the United States, and they have been, you can feel it. You can feel it when I'm doing the energy healing. So I do I just teach it. I teach how to, how you were saying earlier about wanting, if you'd rather have the higher experiences, right? And not have scary experiences. Well, that's some of my work. I have my master's in metaphysics. I went to school and I've been studying really deeply on how we create our own reality and how it works. It's like opening the clock and seeing the mechanism. I wanted to know. So if anyone would like to learn, if they're having, would like to know how to connect to the angels or the Sasquatch people or fairies or dragons or the nature spirits or the elements, I can teach you some stuff. I really enjoy teaching people. I've been able to offer some very helpful things to people over the years, like life enhancing, where they did not know, like they needed an answer or were struggling in something or couldn't sleep because of PTSD from being in the war, the Gulf War, or the Persian War, whatever it was. And I was able to help him with sleeping better or helping a spirit. I've been able to use my mediumship abilities and connect with spirits as I've been doing my animal house sitting and help them to move on. And I've connected to spirit animals and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, I'm rambling.
No, it's all good. No, you're amazing. You're amazing. And all that is amazing as well. And I want to thank you again for coming on the Cryptid Quest Podcast again tonight, Tricia. And you know what? Everybody out there, if you want to get a hold of Tricia, get a hold of her. We'll have her links on the end of the show. Go to her page. Go talk to her. If you got problems, she can help you. And if you want to talk to me, you want to come on our we got Spotify, we got YouTube, we got Facebook. Come talk to us. Get on our Gmail right here. And you know what? Me and my buddy over here, Dirty, want to tell you, keep it creepy.
Out in the woods where the shadows creep, I'm trying to find a legend that the people keep. Bigfoot's the name, got a story to tell. Footprints in the mud, can't you hear the bell? Whispers in the night, can you feel that chill? Bigfoot on the run, he's a legend, keep it real. Bigfoot Bigfoot, yeah, he's the talk of the town. Creeping through the trees, never wearing a frown. Legend of the forest, he's got a big stride. As the trap beats thump, you know he's got pride. Like I'm on a quest, searching for the homie, you know he's the best. Got my camera ready, heightened senses on blast. Snap a shot of Sasquatch, legend unsurpassed. Eyes in the dark, you can't catch what you can't see. King of the woods, living wild and free. Bigfoot, yeah, he's the talk of the town. Creeping through the trees, never wearing a frown. Legend of the forest, he's got a big stride. As the trap beats thump, you know he's got pride.